Match reaction after it's finished. Notts 0, Lincoln 2. We're at the Carabao Cup in the first round. Lincoln progress. It wasn't very good. It really wasn't very good. I know they're a League One side, and I don't want to be coming on second game of the season, one league game and one EFL Cup game, and being very negative and down, because on this channel I'm pretty positive. But that just really wasn't good. Like, was there a reaction? There was no reaction seen at all. I know there was a lot of rotation, but players played today that did play on Saturday. You got Kyle Cameron in there, you got Richard Brindley, you got Slocum who played most of the game, you got Bostock who came on who played most of that game, and it just was not very good at all. I'm going to start with the positives because I want to get those out of the way. I thought Crowley was good. Really does look comfortable in that position. I played against the League One side, and for me, looked like a League One player. I thought it was creative, but when you're the only player doing it and you haven't dropped very deep to get the ball, it is very difficult. But I did think he looked pretty decent. And then I thought when Tipton came on, I thought he was good as well. Played a couple of nice balls into the box, carried the ball pretty well. But again, you're coming on with 10 men against the Lincoln side that are pretty much, they know they're safe in the game. Notts haven't created many chances. I don't remember really a clear-cut effort we had that forced their keeper into any kind of real save. So they were my two positives. Good to see Tar getting time on the right-hand side. Good to see Scott getting some minutes, but it was very difficult for him. Austin gets those minutes as well. So they're the positives. Players get minutes, and there's a couple of decent players. So, you know, that's as far as positives go for me. I say negatives. It wasn't a very good performance. The blueprint is worked out. The blueprint's absolutely worked out, and it's press Notts and be very physical. And as it stands, that's a surefire way to beat us. The press, since we've been back in the EFL, we knew it was going to be difficult. The press is it's so much more difficult to beat than in the National League. Teams sitting right up on the penalties, well, not on the penalty spot, the edge of the box when we get a goal kick, suffocating us, and the amount of times we had to go long. I think in the first half, like today, we went long more times than we did in almost, you know, in most 90 minutes in the National League, and we didn't have the players up there. We had Crowley, 5'8", Austin 5'9", and Kedwin Scott, the only three up there that were able to try and win anything. We got just out battled up there, and that's not to say anything towards those three players, but they're not players that are going to hold the ball up for you and be very physical. And you have a look, if you swap those players around, you've got Marias in there, who's very small player, not his game either. You've got Langstaff, it's not really his game. So you think if we're going to play that system and we're going to get pressed, we need to have a plan B. And it needs to be sorted out pretty sharpish. Defensively, it was my biggest issue today. We just look all over the place. Another red card. And I'm going to say it was a pathetic second yellow card. You're on a yellow and the ball goes over the top and you just haul your man to the floor. And I knew straight away, I thought, why on earth has that been done? It was a very silly red. And if Stone's red got carried into this game, I'm very sure Baldwin's will be carried into Saturdays against Grimsby, a game that obviously it's not a must win, but we need to start getting points on the board and positivity back in the squad. We've conceded 7 in 2 games. It could have been 5-0 tonight comfortably. They hit the post. Slocum was, I know Jim got man of the match, but Slocum was forced into being my man of the match through the sheer amount of saves he had to make. There was no other option for me for a man of the match, maybe Crowley. But I just am concerned defensively, very concerned that the two times we played sides, look, Sutton were giants. Lincoln weren't, and we were bullied again. In the middle of the park, bullied. And I just think teams are really able now with the quality they've got to exploit our weaknesses. So we're at the EFL Cup, could be a blessing. You know, there's a lot of competitions. There's the EFL Trophy where we have to play a minimum of 3 games in there. We've got the FA Cup coming up. But we really need to get some points on Saturday. We need to get, I know we've only had 1 league game, we need to get something to just, we don't want it to snowball and we start to concede lots of goals and don't pick up wins and get beaten very easily. So that's my assessment of the game. I'd love to know what you thought if you were there, if you listened, how did it sound on the radio. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you don't already. It's going to be a long and interesting season. Let's see if we can get that result on Saturday at home to Grimsby.